Okay, so yeah, let's start. So again, let me introduce myself first. I'm Devlin Dudulao. I'm a Filipino cloud engineer based here in Oslo, Norway. And yeah, let's open up my slide here. Let's see. I think I need to share here my screen. There you go. So REST to GraphQL. Yeah, again, Devlin Dudulao. I'm senior consultant in Meta, doing cloud, web, and mobile development. I'm a Microsoft MVP and an Auth0 ambassador. So let's start with GraphQL. So what is GraphQL? Uh, okay, so it is a specification, a query language for your API that provides a more efficient, powerful, and flexible client-server communication alternative to REST. So what it means by a specification is that GraphQL is only a set of general guidelines on how to query data in a really efficient way. But you may use different approaches or design patterns when implementing GraphQL. What's good is that there are already GraphQL implementations in different languages. You can build a GraphQL server using Python, C#, Java, JavaScript, Elixir, Ruby, Scala, PHP, and more. Now, who's using GraphQL? There are companies that are using GraphQL in production, and it's growing fast. To name a few here, we have Airbnb, Twitter, Lyft, NBC, Atlassian, Pinterest, Rakuten, New Relic, PayPal. It's a lot. Yelp, right? And GraphQL has a lot going for it. But I'll focus on the main advantages of moving to or REST API to GraphQL. So okay, here why use GraphQL? First of all, you get types, which guarantees that the data you get will be of the type expected and prevents many of the common errors with REST. So if that's been an annoyance for you, you're a good candidate here. And here, second one is query multiple DBs from one GraphQL server. When you have multiple databases or even different databases serving the same application, GraphQL is a much better approach to this disjointed architecture, as it serves a single point to do all your queries versus multiple separate entities. We'll see them more in a bit, especially the types in inspection. The other advantage of going to GraphQL is the flexibility of the queries. You can query for a very specific type of data, say only one property of that query, like only the first name and not all the properties from that object, may return when you query a list of contacts, for example. So just these small points may already prove to you GraphQL is a much better approach than a simple REST API in this part. But yeah, not always ideal. GraphQL isn't the best solution in all cases. Why? More code to set up, for instance, writing GraphQL types along with your entities. So that's one. Small applications, stick to REST. So if you're building a small application or API, REST could be much better approach. Consider the cost of developing the GraphQL tool versus the value it may provide to you or to your company. And evaluate your scaling plans here. If you're going to scale an application beyond the simple queries, or already have a big implementation, then yes, GraphQL may make sense. And start small with REST, grow with GraphQL. So yeah, start small with REST, because implementing GraphQL isn't actually that big of a deal. And when you're ready, go for it. Now let's go here. What's common? Before we differentiate GraphQL from REST. Both are stateless, produce data in JSON format, and available in any server-side languages and front-end frameworks. Okay, so now let's see what are the differences between the two. First, REST has these multiple round trips to collect the information from multiple resources, whereas in GraphQL has one single request to collect information by aggregation of data. And then next, multiple endpoints in REST. In GraphQL, it is a single endpoint. This makes GraphQL more maintainable and more user-friendly. Next, overfetching and underfetching data resources in REST, while in GraphQL, you only get what you ask for. In REST, caching is built into HTTP spec. GraphQL, on the other hand, has no automatic caching system. Why? Because when sending requests to a GraphQL server, you'll be using hosts all the time, so there's no kept HTTP requests. However, there are libraries in client-side application like Apollo can do the caching for you or set up, or you can set up a proxy service between a client app and the GraphQL server. So it sits in the middle. So yeah, that's how you do caching. Okay, so we have here the key concepts in GraphQL. These are the things that you just need to remember. We have query here. Query are used to fetch data and can be executed with fragments, aliases, and arguments. We have mutation. Mutation are used to add, update, or delete data into your GraphQL environment. What about types? Subscriptions, by the way, this is creating WebSocket. This is more an advanced part of GraphQL. So let's just move to the types. Types defines your GraphQL schema. Each property expects a type, example, a string. And we have here resolvers. Resolver is a function. It's just a function that resolves the actual value of each field within the type. And we have here context. Context is an object. It's an object shared by all the resolvers out there inside your application, of a specific execution. It lets resolvers communicate with each other as well. What else? It's useful for keeping data such as authentication info, the current user, database connection, data sources, and other things you need for running your business logic. So that's context. And then schema. Schema defines the shape of your data. And schema is also a union of types and resolvers. So it combines them together. Basically, yeah, that's what it does, what resolvers are doing, and also respond to queries and mutations. And they are the function that gives us the result of the query. So that's resolvers. Next is data loaders. This thing, it can batch and cache your database queries. And yeah, I think that's it. That's the key concepts here in GraphQL that you must know when learning GraphQL. Now let's see what's a graph query will look like. Here's a sample of GraphQL query that you can send from a client app to a GraphQL server. And this one here, we have query here. Query is a read-only operation requested to a GraphQL server. And then other types here are mutation. Yeah, like I said earlier, we have mutation and subscription. Query here, and let's see. I have a laser here pointer. Yeah, also known as root type, like subscription and query. And here we call it operation type. Yeah, other types, mutation, subscription. And then next would be a requested field. Here, it's an object type, meaning it's yeah, meaning it's a custom type. Because here ID, we have this scalar type, meaning it's like a primitive type in any programming language. We have a string here, string, and here it's an object, so it's called object type. Yeah, here the requested field as well. Here is a scalar. So, and here it is, just like that. We'll be using this later, this query language here, and we'll be using it inside the GraphQL IDE. So here's another example of GraphQL query. There's the operation type, operation name. That's optional, but will help you in debugging and server-side logging. And we also have variable definitions here. This one. So, this is the argument, and then the variable definition would be usually below here. I don't have space here. I'll use it later. So yeah, GraphQL queries allow you to be more specific regarding which data you want to fetch, and that can reduce the amount of data which is transferred over the wire. And lastly, before we go to the demo or live demo, introspection. So yeah, here every GraphQL server has a special schema field at the query route, and using that, you can expose all of objects in fields in a GraphQL server, and this allows developers to create amazing tools. For example, auto documentation. We can ask for per server, what are your fields and objects. We'll see it later after this. And these fields and objects usually have names and descriptions. Plus, they can let you use every field. So you have free documentation out of the box. Code generation. You can imagine if you have some front-end code, then you might even be able to guess what query to do you need and generate it, because you know what's possible and not. And we also have static validation here. You don't even need to let a query go to the server and then get rejected, because you know beforehand if that query is valid or not. The GraphQL IDE will give you a hint. Usually it's squiggly or something. You will know, when you start writing query, if that query is valid or not. And then that would help IDEs to validate your queries and automate your queries, because they know everything about the schema. And honestly, this is my favorite part in GraphQL, introspection. Okay, getting started. First, we'll build a GraphQL server. You use GraphQL on the front end. That's it. Demo time. In demo time, here are the steps we'll be doing. Install GraphQL NuGet package. We'll be using ASP.NET Core here, Xamarin, and React. Install GraphQL NuGet package, install GraphQL Server Transport, ASP.NET Core NuGet package. You can take a screenshot of this. Install GraphQL Server UI Playground NuGet package. Then add GraphQL middleware, define fields of graph entities, queries, mutations, and build schema. And then after that, we can consume now GraphQL through GraphQL client or Apollo client in JavaScript folder. So, okay, let me stop this slide. Just end it. Okay, so yeah. So yeah, this is Visual Studio 2019. And here, let me show it to you. This is a GraphQL package. This is it. Now it's in version 2.4. And here the server transports ASP.NET Core. WebSockets for subscription, and the UI Playground, the IDE for GraphQL. You don't have to download from the internet. It's included in the NuGet package, and you can ready to use. Just ignore this OData because I combined here in this repo GraphQL and OData. And yeah, we'll be using Entity Framework here. So here it is. And then middlewares, right? So here it is. Let's go here first. There's services. I'm using SQLite here just to simplify things. And repository here, and in schema. Actually, that would be in the next part after adding this. We will go back to that later. And here's the GraphQL part. This would be the endpoint. So you have the single endpoint, GraphQL, and passing the game shop schema. And the playground. And here, we're just seeding data. And here's the data from the SQLite. Seeding it here. I'll already run this by the way. And we will be getting this through GraphQL, Xamarin, and React. So let's go to a game type. And that game type can be found here. Let me enlarge this. I think it's let's close down the computer. I hope you can read this. I can still see this. So yeah, this is the game shop API with GraphQL. And yeah, this is usually, I would say the typical setup in GraphQL.NET. Types are here, and you separate the mutation, the query, and the schema, and the subscription. Okay, this is weird zooming. So, game type, custom object. And now we're just inheriting it from object graph type and passing down game, which is POCO, that plain C# object. You can check that out. There's nothing special here actually. And yeah, so this is a requirement here. Inheriting object graph type, passing the entity. And then as you can see here, we're passing the repository here. So we'll be getting the data from the database using entity framework. And then data loader, the one that can batch all the queries, because there's a problem here in GraphQL that this is the solution currently. It sends a lot of database requests when you're fetching nested collections. So it's called the N+1 query problem. So this is the solution here. So what it does is just it cache and batches all the queries. So you can send it just once in a database. But anyway, so yeah, writing this field here, field. So this is how you do it. Inside this construction, you have name, T as in type. So why don't we have this type of here? Because these are scalar, meaning these are numbers, like integers, booleans, and strings. So you don't need to specify it here. So as you can see here, even this one developer type, you have to like describe type it. Extra schema. I know that's how it is. Description, and also this description here is optional, but it can help you. Let me open up GraphQL client tab here. Okay. No, not this one. This one. Yeah. Docs. So, yeah. Here it is. You'll see some description here. So it is optional, but at the same time, I would encourage you to, at least write some description, especially if it's hard to understand what's happening. For example, here, all video game developers of this game, so developers. So yeah, let's jump back there. The code. So that's the description, the one that you'll also be seeing there in the built-in documentation of GraphQL. So this type here has this query reviews. Now this reviews gives you this collection of reviews through this loader. You can see here, and we're passing this review repository. This is in the context of nested collections. Let me show you some game type. Yeah, there it is. This is, I would say, this is simpler than the other one. Let's say this is, on simple query of collection games. Let's say games, and you have description here, all video games of the game shop. And now we're just using the context to retrieve from the repository all the game. Simple as that. And what about a game? This is a single game or a detailed game. Of course, you need to pass something like an ID, right? So here, if you're querying for a single game only, and you have here description, which is an optional argument, so you need that extra property here or parameter. This argument, new query arguments, kind of long, I know. And non-null graph type, meaning it's a requirement. You cannot send this game query here without this ID and name, without this. So it's part of that query or definition. So yeah, and here's the resolver. Get argument, context, and then the repository here. So you're getting the ID here, whatever you pass. So this will turn into here. I'm using SQLite, so it's just an integer with auto increment. You see it here, yeah. You can see it there. It's int. So, and then pass it here, get one, and then it will return just a single game. Here's reviews. And here's our developers. Okay, so I guess we can start sending requests. And here, I'll show to you. There's a history here about games, yeah. And then use. So games. This is how you would write query, name it query, Oops. Then games, and then name. Let's try that first. Let's see it from there. Yeah, there you go. All the games here. We have Batman, Apex, Assassin's Creed, Super Mario, Legend, and you can also, get here. So this is the it's like, yeah, IntelliSense here. When you control space or command space or something, you see the rest of the properties that are available here in this object. Get genre, ID, uh, photo file name. Let's try that. What else? I want the price as well. What else? I want the rating, of course. I want to know how good the games are. Okay. Let's try this first. Yeah. There it is. Yeah. The rating. Photo file name. But you know what? This photo file name here, if you don't like the name of the property, you can change it here to say just image. Then send that. So you have fully control of the response of the server here. Instead of getting that photo file name, you can dictate, say, I don't want that, I just want image. So what else can you do here? What about if you're retrieving this here? This is the collection. As you can see here, you cannot just do that. It requires you to state there. Here, you see this red here, to add some fields that you want to see. It doesn't give you automatically all the fields of properties there. So you need to put there something. I think this is required. Yeah. View. For requirement here is at least one. Just use title. Then save it again. So now you have here Batman, and he has one review here. Title: My favorite Batman game. What's that? What else? Let's check it out here. History. So again, this GraphQL IDE here is automatically provided for you through this GraphQL Server UI playground that I downloaded here from the package. Okay, that's weird mouse. Okay, so what about just a single game? This is a single game, and we need to right here like the value that you'll be passing here, and it helps you again. Your IDE helps you just control space, and you have game ID here, and it requires you to put a game ID. So game query will be the name here. Oh, what is this? Exclamation, meaning that's a requirement. You cannot ignore it. Game, yeah, returning this. So here it is. This game ID 4 is the Assassin's Creed Odyssey, rating 3. It's a bad game. I don't know. Yeah, with reviews and developed by. And this developed by is a collection or an array. Yeah. So let's go back here, the IDE. So that's how you would query in GraphQL. It really gives you this user experience or developer experience just control the space. It gives you this intelligence as well. And mutation. So what is mutation again? Mutation can create, delete, and update objects in your GraphQL. Here's an example. So name it game shop mutation in here. So that's the class. So we'll be inheriting it from object graph type, passing the review repository, injecting it. And we also have this review message service. Actually, this is for subscription or WebSocket. I'll just ignore that for now. Great review would be the name of the query, or not the query, the mutation. And again, we're seeing these arguments again here, meaning you have to pass something, right? In this case, it's going to be the review. And here we're resolving it using this context. And we can do this async and await, since the review repository here is awaitable. Context, get argument, passing the type, game review, and the name here. Yeah, review, and it's going to extract it, the value of that, passing it to review repository, add review, await, machine service, return view. I think this is better to show you using here, a React application. So this is a React application with TypeScript. And yeah, let's check out first the package that is on. So this is the most important thing here. So you can do CRUD using GraphQL, the Apollo client. There's another one, I think Relay, but yeah, this is I think the most popular one in JavaScript world for consuming GraphQL in client side. So we have here Apollo client, and then no, not this one. Setting it up. No, not for now. So here, it's just a provider. You just wrap your parent component, the app component here is the root component. Just wrap it with the Apollo provider, and then it works out of the box. I'll give you an example here, queries. So to create queries here, basically you just need to grab it from your IDE. For example, this one. Just copy and paste it here. Even in summary later, you'll see. The thing is, has to be inside this backtick, right? Copy it. And here we're exposing it. You'll see also some tutorials on YouTube. They're using this directly inside the same file. Let's say here, games. Let's see it here. Okay, so use query. So we need this. This is from the Apollo client that I installed here. The type will be games because it's a collection. And here's the games query. You'll see in other tutorials that they put it here. Here, over here. Is no, not that one. This one is games query or any query. I found this a better approach to separate, the queries and mutations in their own files, and then just export it, import it where you're planning to use it. Or maybe some applications will also need it. So, not applications, sorry, components. So yeah, use query, games query. You have the data here, and just for loop here, and that would be this one. Yeah. The same thing. We have Batman here, Monster Hunter. Let's see details. Okay, so we're in the part of mutation, right? So what is that mutation again? I'll show it to you what it looks like. So this is it, the mutation. You can do this here in the GraphQL IDE, but we will be doing it here in React. So here. Okay, let's send some review. Good job. And comment, add, I don't think I can take anything, the best Monster Hunter. There it is, the response. I have a JSON stringify here, so you can see the result. Great review. Here's the ID, title, good job, best Monster Hunter ever. Right. You can, we can query this. So if you want to see your components updates automatically, you can use cache. You can also use polling. It's also built in the Apollo client. You send polling, or yet you can use subscription. So you send a mutation, it will automatically also update the list of, let's say, reviews here. Get response. Okay, so that's the part of mutation. So what about in the Xamarin part? No, not yet. So let's finish this first, this schema. So yeah, going back to the previous slides, I told you schema is just, it puts everything together, the types, the query, the mutation, the subscriptions, the web socket, right? And here it is, a game shop schema. And then we will be using this here. Now middleware, or this one only. And in the services, add scope, the game shop schema. And where's it here? Yeah, here. You can see it. The magnifying is kind of weird. Never seen it. Like this weirdness movement of mouse. Anyway, I hope you can see it. Yeah. Let's. I don't know the shortcut keys. Sorry. This will get it after a few days. Okay. So yeah, this the schema part. And let's jump to the part where we can use it inside the Xamarin. So this is the Xamarin part. Yeah. So in Xamarin, we just need this GraphQL client and GraphQL client serializer. Let's check out the service. So yes, C#. So here we have a method here, get games, and then we're using this client send query async. That's part of this one. GraphQL client HTTP. Response. So what is this response type? Because the GraphQL server doesn't give you this object where you can consume it right away. There are properties inside, and that's what you have to use in order to render something. So GraphQL response is something like this. So here, this is what we'll be using. So game GraphQL response dot, this something like that. Yeah. So here, oh, we have data and games. That's it. Not really, sorry. It's, yeah, games. So this, we also have started here, QL HTTP client that part of this lazy, you know, client holder, and then create GraphQL client here, GraphQL HTTP client options, and GraphQL URL here, somewhere here like a constant, where we can check it out. So yeah, since this is just an emulator, it has its own computer thing going on. Local host 10.0.22. If not, this is for simulator of iOS anyway. Yeah, and then return new GraphQL HTTP client, which the Newtons of serializes it. What about the queries? Here's the queries here. So just like this one, you see, with similarity, you can basically copy and paste it. Paste it here, and you'll be using this @ sign. I forgot. I forgot how you call this. Yeah, anyone there? Just last week I've been talking about this @ sign here, and now I forgot. So sorry guys. No, string interpolation. It's kind of, but there's a specific term for this. String literal. Like, maybe later I'll figure out. Sorry. Okay. Or you can Google it and then let me know. It's I forgot about it. Anyway, let's just move to the next one. Mutations. Yeah, here's the mutation. In arguments as well. Yeah. Verbatim. There you go, Jody. Thank you. The verbatim. Verbatim. I don't know how you pronounce it. Verbatim. Yeah, could be British English or American English. Yeah. What about the game here? Classes. Yeah, nothing special. Yeah, that's how you consume GraphQL, how you set up GraphQL in ASP.NET, and how you would consume a GraphQL query using C#, and in the JavaScript port as well. There you go. Okay, so oh, hold on, I forgot to show you the summary part, but it works. I'm not just showing you code. You see here, Batman, Apex, Cyberpunk, God of War, my favorite, and Uncharted. Yeah, let's go to my slides and let's finish this off. So what about security in the API? Usually you put an authentication right before in the application level. And then inside the resolver, you'll do the authorization there. That's how it is. And there's also some things that you have to know here in GraphQL, the bot endpoints to minimize the number of queries, to protect your database. Network level caching, limiting the maximum query size. So that's also included there. Yeah, like I said, per solver level authentication. And you can limit maximum query size and the level of queries. References GraphQL.NET. It has 1.5 million NuGet downloads. It's open source with 100 plus contributors. And there's also another one, Hot Chocolate, with 25 contributors, pretty much new, and 95,000 NuGet downloads. But actually, they made this. It's gonna be they said it's gonna be the improvement of this one, GraphQL.net, because their plan is to make something like what Prisma does. Prisma is GraphQL, and then it gives you this everything without writing a lot of boilerplate in GraphQL. So here is the chocolate, and they also have this for the client side. They call it the strawberry shake. Where's my laser pointer? Here it is, strawberry shake. Yeah, for laser and sand. Yeah, that's the chocolate and then the strawberry. Nice name. Huh? And to learn .NET GraphQL, yeah, you can go here, codetravel.io. He has a lot of GraphQL tutorials and documentations. And yeah, let's review the steps. GraphQL ASP.NET Server setup, install GraphQL NuGet package, GraphQL Server transport, ASP.NET Core NuGet package, the UI playground, add some middleware, GraphQL middleware, sorry, define the fields of graph entities, queries, mutations. Then you build the schema, it's just a few lines of codes. And then just basically importing the queries mutations, and then set up GraphQL clients in C# or in JavaScript using for the client. Summary: what and why GraphQL? GraphQL is a specification query language that ensures data is efficiently generated and accessed. For client is a client-side library that leverages the power of GraphQL API to handle data fetching and management for you, so that you can spend less time plumbing data and more on building your application. Oh, it's rigid, sorry. So, of course, without the sponsors and Code PaLOusa, this wouldn't be possible. Thank you guys for listening. Usually I hang around in the room or outside the room in real conferences. And here in virtual, you can contact me on Slack or Twitter. Yeah, thank you. Hope you like it. It's GraphQL.net. And not only that, the concept of GraphQL and the things that you need to know, in GraphQL, the key concepts. Yeah, thank you. Oh yes, yeah. Do we have time for questions? Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Source code. It's already there in my GitHub. It's putting here the link. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here it is. Yeah, that's the source code. GraphQL, ASP, Xamarin, React, TypeScript, and OData. You get free OData there. Yeah, definitely. If anyone can share audio, video, yep, definitely. Yeah, Jody, there's a lot of sort. Usually it'll take you a week to, fully comprehend what's happening in GraphQL. Just remember those key concepts, because you'll end up, oh, I've learned this, and then there's a thing as this data loader that does this. So that at least you have an expectation that these are the key points that you need to remember. I think there are 7 vocabularies that I put there. It's part of the GraphQL. Andre has a question. How would GraphQL work in microservices environment? Uh, let's say you have 5 services, and you can put GraphQL in the middle. It acts like an application gateway. So you send the request there, and then the GraphQL will does the fetching for you in different servers. For example, you have RESTful services, 10 RESTful services. No, it's, I think I have, yeah, hope you can see this. This is your, ooh, hold on. Yeah, let me draw it to you. It's very quick. It will be very, very quick. Yeah, here's your client application. Just imagine this is your web. Yeah, your web and your cell phone, mobile. Yeah, mobile. And you're sending requests. And here's GraphQL. Hopefully this GraphQL. Yeah, and then the GraphQL acts like a proxy, not a proxy actually. It's a gateway. And here's your first service. You have your employee service, and here's your payment service. Here's your, I don't know, it could be other service, um, manager service. So like that. Mhm. I hope that answers your question, Andre. Yeah. And if these are legacies RESTful service, that's how you do it. Just you can wrap it the graphical inside of this if you're just using one backend or web service. But if you have microservice or more than 12 more, it's gonna be different. Just put their GraphQL server in the middle, and then like a API gateway. So now you're still using the legacy RESTful service. You don't need to rewrite your backend application. You don't have to tell your boss, let's do it from scratch. No, you can just use it. Use your old services. You're working, actually it's working legacy, and then just put this GraphQL here, and that's it. Mhm. And now your mobile application and your web can query here and just get what they need. If you're a mobile developer, it's gonna help you develop mobile application. Just fetch what kind of data you want. Anything else? Yeah, yeah. Mhm. Oh, thank you. Yeah, definitely. Mhm. Should buy a mic, a big mic. Actually, I do have a mic here, but for some reason it maybe brand new. I don't know, brand new mic. Thank you. Hmm. Glad to know you like it. Mhm. Anything else? Yeah, and actually, no, it's already 3 in the afternoon. Oh, they're in the United States. Yeah, but here in Norway, it's almost 3:30. Yeah. If you have other questions, just let me know. Migration from REST to GraphQL straightforward in um, how straightforward you're looking for. Straightforward in a sense. Oh, okay. Um, Mine is that the repository that I created is not actually a migration uh, way of REST to GraphQL, and you wouldn't actually write it. You just let your old backend, let it be like that, and you just add the GraphQL on top of it like a wrapper. You don't have to touch the old services, the old web service that you're using. So that's how it works. Actually, I can show it to you where you would do that. I think we still have time. You will do that inside the resolver. Like for example, here. So this is how you do it. I hope Andre is still here. Anyway, inside this resolver, instead of using repository here, you'll be calling your old service get HTTP request. So this is going to be a HTTP request, since you'll be talking to your old backend, which is a RESTful service. Get the HTTP request to let's say old legacy web service. Yeah, this is how you do it, and then returning the data that you get from here, data, something like that, and then scratch this. Yeah. Oh no, not data, just data. So this is how you would do it. It's like a gateway. So sending it here in GraphQL, and then the GraphQL resolves it for you. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So you need an HTTP client here that would do this for you. And here since this is a C#, you have to serialize things. Yeah, well, I think we have 4 minutes left. Then sending it there to the RESTful service and returning it. That's it. Now you have this, GraphQL that sends you the data that you need. Okay, again, thank you for listening. And yeah, you can follow me on Twitter or message me on Twitter if you need to know more about GraphQL, React, Angular. I wear a lot of hats: mobile, front end, Kubernetes, Terraform, whatever. Yeah, jack of all trades. Thank you, everyone, and hope to see you next year in the real, like face-to-face conference. And yeah, keep safe and stay healthy. Bye.